Joining me now is Mr. Fred Thompson, former Republican senator from Tennessee, soon to be official presidential candidate. Senator Thompson, welcome to Kudlow and Company, sir.
Thank you, Larry. Good to be with you.
All right, let me just, right at the top, you heard my friend Bob Pisani talk about day two of this, I think, long overdue stock market correction. Corrections come and go in a healthy market. Let me just ask you, sir, are you in the market? Are you an investor? Are you part of the 100 million plus investor class?
Yeah, I have a little invested.
Are you bull or bear right now?
Well, I'm a bull. I'm a bull. We've had an expansion now for a historically long period of time. Usually you have a little correction or a little slowdown before now, and I'm mindful of that. So a little downward, a little here and there doesn't surprise me much and doesn't really worry me much. It looks like that, you know, back orders, as I understand it, are up, and unfilled orders and so forth, and that's always a good indicator. So I'm pretty optimistic about it.
Where you say you're in the market, can you share with us what your largest holding is?
Nope.
All right, I just thought I'd try. We are a financial station, but I appreciate that. All that will come out later. Let me ask you a related question, though, since you are an optimist. We've had a strong economy. We've had a very, very strong stock market. George W. Bush never gets any credit for this. Why do you think that is, sir?
It seems like people concentrate on whatever's not going well. The economy is always the issue unless the economy is doing well. And it seems like some of these other problems are overriding it. It's really unfortunate because a growing economy underlies everything else. We have a lot of historic challenges facing us, from national security issues to globalization to an aging America, and we really can't take care of any of those problems without a growing economy. And he's proven that low tax rates, for one thing, is the major contributor to that. He's proven things that other presidents have proven in the past, and he ought to get credit for it. If
you were elected president to succeed Mr. Bush, would you reappoint Treasury Secretary Henry Paulson and Federal Reserve Chairman Ben Bernanke?
Can't get into that. You know, I'm very impressed with Bernanke so far. You know, he just recently, of course, talked about perhaps a little inflation on the horizon, and it looks like you know, the job number, the job numbers came in, the costs, the employment costs, and so forth, were up a little bit. So he seems to have his pulse on what's going on. So it's a short time yet, but so far he seems to be very impressive.
Let me step back for just a minute and look at the larger picture, if I may. By most accounts, you're going to declare at least your possibility of being a candidate, next month, perhaps July 4th, thereabouts.
Well, we're looking very seriously at it. We're in a testing the waters phase now, and we will be in that for a little while, but we'll make a decision pretty quickly.
Some of your critics, or shall I say skeptics, here's what they say. They say, so far, Fred Thompson doesn't have a clear vision. He doesn't seem to be an agent of change of the sort necessary to carry next year's election in the wake of what many people think is going to be a Democratic move. No one's quite certain if you are a conservative reformer. How do you respond to those, shall we say, skeptics?
Well, Larry, frankly, that's the first time I've ever heard that, because anybody who's been watching my commentary that I've been putting online for months now, where I've addressed most major issues, I guess, facing us, or anybody who's covered the speeches that I've made around, or anybody who has listened to any of my numerous television interviews, I don't think would come to that conclusion. I've been talking about a tax code that needs major simplification and reform. I've talked about making sure that we keep lower tax rates. I think our corporate taxes are too high. I've been talking for years, since began my service in the Congress, where I was chairman of the Governmental Affairs Committee, about the waste and mismanagement and lack of accountability in our federal government, and the fact that we have some basic incompetence in areas that's hurting us in the national security area, and also costing us billions and billions of dollars at a time when our budget needs it desperately. We're about 2040, they say, we'll be lucky to be able to pay the interest on our debt in this country. I've been talking about those things for a long time, but you have to take in consideration the fact that I'm not a declared candidate, so I haven't been out there. My name ID is not that high, so I can understand why a lot of people might not know what my positions are on some of these things, but anybody that's been listening to what I've been saying, I don't think would come to that conclusion. In fact, just the opposite. That's the rationale for my candidacy. The fact that we are at a crossroads in this country, we're going to have to do a lot of things better and differently, and we're going to have to do them together as we've never done before.
Let's pick up on a couple of those ideas. First of all, tax reform. Specifically, sir, what kind of tax reform are you thinking about?
Well, I don't want to get into a lot of details in terms of a plan before I even announce my candidacy, but simpler, without question. You know, I'm told now that most people can't figure out how to compute their capital gains and dividend liability. Things just get more and more complicated. We got the ridiculous thing with the death tax, where on December 31st, 2010, if you die, you have zero liability, and your estate does. And if you die 24 hours later, you can lose over half your estate to the federal government. Just as an indicator of the ridiculousness in the tax code now, makes us competitive in a lot of different ways. We have, if you include state taxes, you have the highest corporate tax rate in the world that makes us less competitive. All those things have to be looked at, and all those, especially as far as the corporate tax rate is concerned, needs to be clearly reduced, I think. Yeah.